Hello, booktube. I am doing my first ever huge haul video, and what I'm going to be sharing are all the books that I got for the month of April, which as of right now is like 22 and counting because I bought a lot of books. They weren't all bought. I got a lot of them at the thrift store. I was gifted a couple for a giveaway. I was given a couple as review copies that I am going to be reading and reviewing for the next month or so. But without too much messing around, I'm going to go ahead and jump into all the books I've got. Most of them are horror, but not all of them. So you will see a couple of my non-horror reads, and I'm actually going to start off with one of my non-horror reads. So first up, I have Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This is one I've been seeing on my Bookstagram a lot. I've even seen some people, I think, on Book Talk talking about it. And for those that don't know, I do have a Book Talk TikTok, so if you want to check that out, it'll be under @FinalGirlReads. I will probably link that in the description below so that you can go follow me if you want to. But I got Red Queen. This is one I bought at my local Walmart. They only had the one copy, so I was really happy to get my hands on it. The second book is House of Hollow, which I'm not 100% sure if this is a horror book, but I've seen a lot of horror bookstagrammers posting about this book, so some of these were impulse buys just based off of my social medias and what people are reading and really seem to like, and I have not heard anything bad yet of House of Hollows. This is by Crystal Sutherland. I'm very much looking forward to reading this one. I might actually try to get this on my May TBR. Next up are the books I got for my April Nightworms package. I will also link that video below because you can go check that out, see all the little goodies I got for my April Nightworms package. But first up is Goddess of Filth, and you've probably, if you've been following my channel, have seen that I also posted this for the Halloween-a-thon of 2021 by the women over at Spinebreakers. I'm actually starting this one today, so it should be a relatively quick read that I'm very much looking forward to. This was by V. Castro. I got Scanlines by Todd Kiesling. Todd Kiesling. It also looks like it's going to be a really quick read. I believe what I've read is there's a VHS that after you watch it, you commit suicide, so it's, I guess, kind of like how The Ring is, which I absolutely love that movie, so I'm really looking forward to reading that. And Whisper Down the Lade by Clay McLeod Chapman is my third Nightworms book that I got. They had 3 for the month of April, so really excited. Again, this is one that's been all over my Bookstagram and has been highly recommended, so I'm really looking forward to this one. I think a couple of booktubers also posted about this. Next up, I'm going to be sharing a book I won in a giveaway over on my TikTok, and it is Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. I only just started this. I tend to read a couple of different books at a time. I like to have my fantasy reads that I read before bedtime, and I picked this one up yesterday and started it, and I must say I'm already quite hooked. I'm very curious to see where the story goes from here, but I got this from Stephanie, and I cannot remember her last name, but really happy to have gotten this as a giveaway. It's already proving to be a really fun book so far. Next up are 2 books that I got to review for my blog tours that will be coming out in May. So first up is The Cuts That Cure by Arthur Herbert. Synopsis has to do with a couple people who are... Alex Brantley is a disgraced surgeon whose desperation to start a new life outside of medicine leads him to settle in a sleepy Texas town close to the Mexican border, a town that has a dark side. Its secrets and his own past catch up with him as traits he thought he'd buried in the deserts on the frontiers of the border rise up again to haunt him. And it goes into a little bit more than that, but I don't want to give away too much. I will hopefully have a review up on my booktube as well when my blog tour date is due, which is May something. I have it written down, but I'm not hauling it out right now. I also got, I'm totally gonna butcher this, The Demon of Yodok by Adria Carmichael. This is another one that I was given a review copy for a blog tour that will also be out in the month of May, so stay tuned for that. I will have both of these read and reviewed on the dates that I am scheduled to review them. Next up for my books are two that I bought off of Amazon. The first being De-Evolution by Max Brooks. I've actually not read any of his books. My husband read what was the name of it? World War Z. My husband read it, and I think he quite enjoyed it, so I'm very curious to be reading this one. Oh, yeah, author of World War Z. I could have just looked right there instead of that long pause. But, this is one that I saw all over my Bookstagram, so again, I'm really bad about, if I see the book on there a lot, I'm bound to go out and buy it. So this was another one that I bought because of that. And I just bought this one Saturday, and it came in Sunday. I finally own The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. This has probably been one of the books that's been on my to buy list for the longest time, and I've been putting it off, hoping to find like a copy at my used bookstore, but while they do have Clive Barker, they never have this, so I'm really, really happy to finally have a copy of this. Hellraiser is one of my all-time favorite movies, and to finally have the book is just, I'm so excited. It's a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be, but I can't wait to read it. Now these next hauls these are ones that I had wanted to give away a couple years back, but the person who was hosting the giveaway, life happened, things got crazy busy, and they weren't able to get the books to me. They felt really bad. They contacted me and were like, hey, I can send you a whole bunch of books if you want, and they still wanted to fulfill that giveaway, so I got 5 books from them, starting off with a Fear Street book, which I loved Fear Street growing up. This was like Goosebumps for teens, and I absolutely loved it, and I have quite a collection going of these, but I did not have this one. This is The Dead Lifeguard, so very curious to read that one. I got The Offspring by J.N. Williamson. The cover has a mummy on it, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what this has. The synopsis I've read sounds like it's going to be a pretty interesting read. I've got Scary Stories for Sleepovers, which I guess is probably similar to Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which I do have all of those, but I am looking forward to seeing how these are similar. This one I might actually read to my kids before bedtime, which will probably result in them having nightmares and waking me up, but it'll be worth it. I also got still more Scary Stories for Sleepovers, which I'm guessing is the sequel for it, so these both look really good. Oh look, it was from Goodwill. These both look like they're going to be pretty fun, quick reads, and I have children who enjoy reading, so maybe we can sit down and make a little family night of it. And then I've got what is probably my first graphic novel, Witches. I've not yet owned a graphic novel, so I'm actually looking forward to reading this. The artwork looks absolutely phenomenal. But that's Witches. Believe it or not, I'm still not done. I had 22 books, plus my Creepy Crate unboxing that I still need to do, and that's got to have at least one book in it, so. I picked Death in the English Countryside up from a little thrift store, outlet store for like 25 cents. They almost never have books, so of course when I saw that they had books, I had to get something. So, this is by Sarah Rosette. I've not read this. It's Murder on Location Book 1, so it is a murder mystery. I will probably be reviewing this across all of my social media platforms because I do cover horror, sci-fi, thriller, murder mysteries, stuff like that. Next up was Phantom Wheel by Tracy Deebs. This looks like it's going to be a fun little YA type book to read. These next 4 were got at my local Goodwill. I got Caroline Kepnes, You. The fact that Stephen King called it hypnotic and scary, totally original, had me hooked. I'm a sucker for if I see Stephen King praising about it, I definitely want to get my hands on it. Next up is The Widow by Fiona Barton, which again, Stephen King raved about, so that was definitely a must-have. Gillian Flynn, Dark Places. I finally got around to reading Gillian Flynn this year. I did read Gone Girl and absolutely loved it. So I'm really curious to see how she does with this one. This is one that I remember seeing on my Instagram for the longest time and people talking about it. And then I got Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page because that just, the title alone kind of hooked me in, I'm not gonna lie. Really, like, curious to see what that one's about. And then, finally, my last two, before I open my creepy crate, I have Michael Crichton's Airframe. I've read a Michael Crichton book before. I did read Jurassic Park. Absolutely phenomenal read. Loved it. If you haven't read it yet, you really should. So I've been wanting to pick up other stuff by him, and this one sounded extremely interesting, and it's a large print edition, so, you know, my terrible eyesight, I'll be able to read it quite easily. But the synopsis says, 3 passengers are dead, 56 are injured, the interior cabin virtually destroyed, but the pilot manages to land the plane. At a moment when the issue of safety and death in the skies is paramount to the public mind, a lethal mid-air disaster aboard a commercial twin-jet airliner bound from Hong Kong to Denver triggers a pressured and frantic investigation. It just sounded really interesting. There were a couple other Michael Crichton books at the bookstore, but that one just honestly caught my eye. And I got another John Saul book. While this does have a library sticker on it, and it's got the library book sleevey thing on it, this was actually still at a used bookstore. I think that a lot of the library books that kind of cycle through end up at their bookstore, but I absolutely love John Saul. He's written some great work, so I'm glad to have gotten introduced to him, and I was really surprised. They don't really have a horror section at this used bookstore, but this was lumped under like murders and mysteries, so I was really excited to find this. Yeah, that's my 22 current count of books for the month of April. I am joking with my husband that I'm gonna have to have an intervention with the rate that I buy books. So, do you have any of these? Have you read any of these? Feel free to drop those in the comments. I'd love to hear what books you've read, what books you recommend. I'm always looking for more book recommendations. I hope that the week is off to a good start for all of you, and as always, happy reading.